Ole Miss fans need a hotel for the game weekend? Many OTAs keep all the commissions, but at Fan Plans, you still get your loyalty points, receive direct confirmation from the hotel, and you support Rebel Grove. Visit fanplans.com/Rebel Grove today.
Welcome into the season finale of the Davison Igbinosun Show, presented by the College Corner. I'm Neil McCready. That is Ole Miss cornerback Davison Igbinosun, home in New Jersey for at least a few days. Happy New Year, Davison. How are you?
Happy New Year's, Neil. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'll get to the show in a minute. Remind you, this entire season, this has been brought to you by the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowwood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's okay. Go to collegecornerstore.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Instagram. If you're tailgating in Oxford, you're homegating with friends and family. Either way, the College Corner has you covered for game day with the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi. Again, it's collegecornerstore.com. We appreciate them sponsoring this show since its inception, which was Davison, back in late August, early September. I think we kind of came together really quick, and boom, we're doing a show like a week before you guys play. What's been your experience with your own show over the course of the fall? That couldn't be something that you imagined you were going to be doing last year when you were playing your senior year in New Jersey.
It's been pretty exciting. Like, people like from New Jersey and Mississippi come up to me. They tell me that they love my show. So it's very exciting for me.
You know, it's something we haven't talked about. I'm going to ask you about it, and we don't spend a lot of time on it. Obviously, you have a speech, obstacle that you've worked on. It's gotten tons better just doing the show.
Right.
With me, you knew going in, obviously, that was going to be something that would get exposed, right? When you did a show like this, that people would know it when you see it. It kind of took, in my opinion, it took some courage on your part to sort of put yourself out there like that, especially as a young person. How hard was that to do? Was that something that you battled a little bit in your own mind about doing the show and the process of doing it?
Yeah, of course. But like, I feel like you have to like attack your challenges and problems. So the only way that it's going to get better is if I practice at it.
Yeah. It seems to me like you've gotten so much better at it just over the last, with this like 15, 16 shows. And I mean, I've seen a difference, just kind of remarkable. Kudos to you for doing that, because you're exactly right. I mean, that's the hardest. It's the hardest thing to do, though. I mean, when you have like a weakness in life, it's pretty easy to like hide it. You know what I mean? Not attack it. I mean, anyway, kudos to you. You guys finished up the season, lost the Texas Bowl down in Houston. Finish up 8-5, which I know is not where you wanted to get. And at one point this season, it looked like you guys were headed for a lot bigger places than that. What will you take from this season, and what will you take at all? Speaking of, taking a negative and turning it into a positive, what will you take from kind of the second half of the season that didn't go so well for you guys as you start getting ready for the 2023 season?
I feel like we talked about this on the last show. Like, me personally, what I would take away from the second half of the season is probably like keeping my confidence and keeping my mental state at a healthy level.
Yeah, I know it's something we talked about a little bit, battling it a little bit. Did you sense that from a team standpoint, you guys kind of lost a little confidence late in the year? Did it kind of dissipate just a little?
Yes, definitely. It's a long season, so it comes with highs and lows. I feel like in the beginning of the season, we started off very fast. We were all on a high, and then by the middle of the season, we kind of dipped. So, like, in the course of a long SEC season, it's going to be hard to us sustain confidence, but.
What for you, when you look back on your freshman season, what was the highlight? Is there one thing that sticks out? Is there a moment that you remember the most?
Of my freshman season, I probably would say the Texas Bowl, the plays that I made in the Texas Bowl, because it was so recent.
You obviously you had that dip you talked about around the Alabama game where you didn't play a lot. You worked your way back into a lot of playing time. You talked about this on the last show about how, hey, you're just going to be confident going in. You know what to expect now. Right. What about this offseason? What specifically do you try to work on this offseason to make yourself a better player going into your sophomore?
I want to get stronger, faster, of course, but like physically, I want to improve on my weight. I want to get up to like 195. I just want to be bigger and stronger and just like understand the entire concept of our defense from different positions. I'm actually going to try to play a little safety too.
Is that just to make yourself more versatile, or is that looking ahead to the next phase of your career, or just trying to help your team in a number of different ways?
I'm just going to try to help my team.
You mentioned gaining weight. I never noticed you, and I know you're not a super big guy, obviously, and there aren't a ton of super big, thick corners or anything. That probably would defeat the purpose a little bit. But I never really saw you get pushed around at all. And you see freshman cornerbacks sometimes kind of get pushed around a little bit because the receivers are a year or two older and they've learned some tricks, right? Because they've had some more experience than you've had or than a freshman corner has had. I never saw that with you, though. I never really saw anybody be able to kind of physically dominate you a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't allow it to happen, but like I just feel like as a freshman, my mindset was like, don't get dominated. So as a sophomore, I'm going to go into situations like I'm going to be the person dominating.
When you look back on this year, who was the one or two guys that you played against that you're like, man, that he's a dude. He's every bit as good as I thought he was going to be, or he's better than I thought he was going to be?
Baron Brown from Kentucky. He was a dude, but like I knew he was a dude coming in college football. And also, if I were to have to say somebody else, it would probably be, let me think. Probably number 8 from LSU, Malik Neighbors.
Oh, okay. That's a new one.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
What about quarterbacks? Which guys, when you look back, you're like, man, he was a guy to face. You talked about Bryce Young going into that game, and he was obviously he was so impressive in the Sugar Bowl the other day. I remembered what you were saying about just his poise. Is it him? Is it anyone else that really stands out as a guy that was impressive?
I can't really say Bryce Young because I didn't really play too much in that Bama game.
Right.
But I think it would probably be Jaden Daniels because the way that he was having that LSU offense move, I think that's the game where he probably had his best game, I feel like.
Is it an advantage going forward? Like you'll face him again. I mean, if good Lord willing, if both of you guys are healthy, you'll face him again this time in Oxford. Will it? I know he will have seen you guys too, but is there an advantage for you as a defender now going into your second college season, having seen some of these people before, faced them before?
Definitely. Just already having all these experiences under my belt is definitely an advantage in itself.
All right, off the field, are you a New Year's resolution guy? Do you make resolutions?
Not really.
I don't either. And if I do, I keep them sort of quiet. But
me too.
I always have people talk about how they make lots of resolutions, and I'm always like, man, it just feels like you're setting yourself up for failure. But for some people they do it, and that's their way. Like I was just at the gym. It's just January the 2nd, and there's all these newcomers in the gym that are brand new people, and you can tell they're just like looking around, and I don't know. That's a cool resolution. It's just like I always looked at it like I'd rather start something on December the 20th than January the 1st, and that way if I get to the 1st and I'm still going, I've got 2 weeks in. What's the schedule for you the rest of the time? I know you have a little time at home. When do you have to head back to Oxford and get started?
I think the first day of classes are the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. So probably the 16th or the 15th, probably.
What do you do with this much time at home? Do you just kind of chill for a little bit and
unwind? I'm chilling and I'm still working out, doing stuff like that, just like keeping myself busy.
Work out with your brother or with
my brother and my friends and like football players from around the way.
What did you learn from being a year away from home? What did you take from a year away from home as you go into your second year of college? Because you started college a year ago in January. What you've been away from home for a year. What have you learned most?
probably like what I learned probably like just keeping my faith in God, because it got hard and it got very hard, and it got hard, but I was able to overcome those obstacles that were in my way because of God. So I would just say the most important was just keeping my faith.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because I remember early in the year when you were just having tons of success, you were like, it's going to get hard. Something's going to happen that's going to be difficult. And it did. And you were able to overcome it, which I thought was, like I said, was a credit to you. Hey, this has been a lot of fun. I don't want to keep any more of your family time here as the season winds as the year, your home time starts to wind down. It'll be January the 15th, 16th before you know it. But I appreciate you doing this all year. I know that the listeners absolutely loved it. I got more people that came up to me about you and you doing the show, and like we talked about, you know, you're just the courage that it took for you to do it and how much better you got. And a lot of people really took a lot from that and looked up to you because of it. I hope you know that. And I think you made a whole lot of fans that cheer for number 20 because of this show, and now know who you are a little bit. And you're more than just a name and a number to them. You're a human being to them, which I think is a cool thing.
All right.
So appreciate it very much. And again, our thanks to the College Corner for making this show possible. It's collegecornerstore.com. Don't forget to check them out online. And obviously, if you're in the Jackson area, 2 locations, one in Ridgeland, one in Flowood. So Davison, got anything before we close it up?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity that you have given me. I appreciate it.
Well, the pleasure's been mine, my friend. I appreciate it very much. Look forward to seeing you around the complex or something soon.
Likewise. Yeah, have a good one.
That's Davison Igbinosun, and that does it for the Davison Igbinosun Show. Thanks to everyone for listening, for all the feedback we've gotten over the course of the year, and enjoy the rest of your holiday break, Davison, and everyone else out there. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again later.